Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Fri Friday. I got the sound right. I got the mic right. I got it all right this morning. And I got to tell you what I got right this morning is I am doing the first ever personal one-on-one interview I've ever done on this podcast, this Facebook creation that we kind of keep moving through. And I've got a special guest this morning that, if I get emotional, you'll understand why, because I just seem to get emotional often. Anyways, but this lady is amazing. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, everybody. So I thought I would shake it up this morning, and I literally called this nice lady at like 6 a.m. I said, "You're on my mind. You're on my mind. I'm going to do this final session with the 5 stops of self-leadership." Man, I can't tell you how special she is. Her name is Jennifer Quarles. And I started writing this show, obviously, last night and putting things together and posted it. And she was on my mind. And it's all for good reasons, right? She has literally changed my life. She's changed our family's life. She's changed the trajectory of my second oldest company, PayServe Systems Incorporated, which is 20 years old this year. It's a 2003 model, and this year it's 20 years old. And I'm gonna guess Jen's been with me over 10 years, and she's gonna come on here in a second. She's gonna give me something to do about that, because I don't think I got the year exactly right. But the reason I want to bring Jen on is because we need some personality. We need somebody on here to kind of, hey, Fri Friday. Hey, Matt, Fri Friday. I want to get in and get out this morning. I want you guys to feel uplifted. I want you to feel like you're accomplishing things. You know, we went through the 5 stops of self-leadership. And we've done a great job. You've all done a great job. We know we can be better. We know we can be better leaders, but we have to start with ourselves. We have to start with ourselves. And if we can't make ourselves better, then we're not going to make people around us better. And that's exactly what Jennifer Quarles does. She makes people around her better. But the unique side of Jennifer Quarles is that the starting of our relationship was really, really unique. And I've told this story before in company meetings several times, because I'm just so proud of, I'm more proud of her than me for actually the story I'm about ready to tell you. But I got to tell you, when I first started building PayServe system, we went through a lot of things, and we had a lot of turnover, and people weren't able to really muster the gas to really push through the growth process, the learning process that myself and my wife were having. And the industry is tough to start with in any way, shape, or form already. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Christina Wilson. You're going to love this story. And Jennifer Quarles, who's going to be jumping on. Thank you. Hey, Claire, you're going to love this. So anyways, we're in a bad spot. We're in a spot where we're down a couple people, and I'm tired of people coming and going and not being tough enough to get there on time, to grind the tax, to grind the software, to grind the growth, to grind my drive for where I want this company to go. And lo and behold, a lady, which I would now call an angel, comes in the front door of PayServe Systems. It says, my name is Jennifer. I'd like to apply for the job that's in the paper or wherever. I don't know if we had internet back then. Of course we did. But she said, I would. And I said, and I don't know who received her at the door. She'll be able to tell you that when she comes on. But at the end of the day, I went out and said, listen, you seem kind of young, and, you don't have a lot of experience. And I just don't think this job is going to be for you. It's just not in your lane. I'm in a process of going through people, and I'm in a process, and you just don't look like you're in a position that you can handle this type of pressure in this job. She said, I can. I said, well, I'm kind of been around doing this for a little bit, and your background is weak, and you've got a lot going on, and you don't have a heck of a lot of software background, and we're struggling through software. And I said, it's not in the card, Miss Jennifer. And she looked right at me, and as I was kind of trying to turn around of this foyer area to leave, and she goes, I can do the job. And so it's funny because when she said that to me, I thought to myself, wow. But I also thought to myself, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. But I mean, I should probably give her a chance at something. I should probably at least, someone with that kind of spunk should be in a position to at least defend themselves. And one way I'm going to teach her a lesson, I'm going to teach her that, you can't just run around telling people you can do things you can't do. And the other one would maybe I could learn a lesson. But really, more importantly, I'm afraid to tell you, my mind was like, well, I guess let's put her through the ringers. So I never interviewed anybody like this before, and it was just kind of the time and the pressures and the needs that we had. And so I brought her into this place called the Fishbowl, and it's a room that's got two big tables and glass all the way around it, and everybody can hear everything that's going on in there. And so I decided to put her through an intelligence test. I wanted to put her through a pressure test. And knowing that I didn't, and believing that I didn't think she would pass it, I threw everything at her that I could. I was probably jerkish. I don't know. I think it's worked out very well, but at the end of the day, I was really, really tough on her. I got a stopwatch out, and I put her in the center of the office. No one knew her. I mean, she was just one of these random things. And I said, okay, here is a Mac computer, and I want you to go into this Mac computer, and I want you to retype this piece of paper right here on a Mac computer and type these words out. And you've got literally 4 minutes from jump to type it out. And she looked at me and she says, I don't use a Mac. I said, that's not my problem. Go. I did that. I mean, you can ask her. And she literally opened that Mac computer. She turned the button on, and you watch her brain just like process through things. Somehow she got word up like I couldn't even. I mean, she was doing things I can't do, right? And she started typing. Never looked at the screen once. Boom, bop, done. 4 minutes. Stop the clock. She showed it to me. I read it. No typos. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Well, I said, well, whatever. Okay. I said, no, I want you. Can you run a 10 key? So I went and I said, Heather, get me a 10 key. Bring me a 10 key in here. And Lori's over on the other side of the room, and she brings me a 10 key. And I said, now, can you do a 10 key? I want you to add up all these numbers in less than 1 minute. And I gave her a list of numbers. Numbers, not words, but numbers. And I said, I need you to add all these up in 1 minute. Gave her a 10 key. You do know what a 10 key is. She said, yes, sir, I do. She got on that 10 key. Go! Clock started, and you should have seen her rip potato chip. It was done. 48 seconds. Something crazy like that. I'm like, that can't be right. Lori, come over here. Add this up. You're our best 10 key person. And Lori went, which is lasers fast. She got it done in sometime around a minute. And her number didn't match Jennifer's. And I said, aha! Your number's wrong. And Lori says, well, let me redo mine. And Lori goes, exactly the same numbers. I don't know why I'm telling you this story. I want to talk to you. I want you to understand that this story is going somewhere. And I want you to understand that the fifth stop that we're going to talk about is your self value. And we've had a great 4 weeks, but I really thought maybe we should put a face on what self value can look like. Maybe I should put a face and a story on something other than obviously what's moving in my life all the time. And I thought, man, what can I just bring to you to show you somebody that's just been so important to me and pushed me through things and pushed herself through things. And she's going to tell us where she was at her life. She's going to probably tell us a little bit about her own self-esteem. And I'm going to ask her some questions. I'm going to ask her where she's at right now. She is actually the user experience manager at Payserve Systems. Her name is Jennifer Quarles. Hi, Jennifer. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Thanks for having me.
Did you get goosebumps? Did you get chills? When I said go, did any of it come back in a horrible experience?
It was a great time. I mean, it was a full hour of just test after test, but it was really great for me.
I couldn't beat you.
I wasn't giving up.
Well, so I think the viewers have an idea of how awesome you are by that story, because most of us on the show, including myself, would not have been able to obviously have the tech. I wouldn't have had the talent to do that. I may have probably had the mindset to try. And the truth is, I was giving you things to test your pressure sequence. But truthfully, I was just really, as I think through it more now, since it's turned out in an epically amazing way, because I think you were just barely married back then. I don't even remember. You were with Chipper, right?
I was.
And
I was fresh out of college.
yeah, that's right. I said, well, what have you ever? What's your experience? And you said, what can you remember what you told me? What your experience was at college? What was your job?
I worked in student services at the college.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So I thought, okay, student services to managing millions of dollars and taking on probably one of the most pressure sensitive jobs in the planet, as far as I was concerned. And I said, well, be careful with this one though. But I said, well, how are you going to handle when a customer says something bad to you? I mean, you've never had anyone say anything bad to you in your life. And you said, well, that's not true. I said, well, what's the worst thing someone's ever said to you at working at a college service desk?
Things that I cannot repeat on the show.
Well, listen, so she's already matured, and so, but when I interviewed her, she dropped some words I hadn't heard since I was in college about what people were saying to her and what they had called her in a couple ways, and I'm like, wow, there's some substance here. So, honestly, I want you to know you're the first person I thought of this morning. There's two people there's a lot of people in my life, but you and Heather really resonated with me with this idea of self-value. And the reason I think you're such a great candidate to have us ask you a few questions and talk to you about is because I think you demonstrate both sides of this equation. That sometimes we have trouble with self-value, right? Sometimes we don't have our own self-worth in check, and I don't think anybody always does. But I also know that the fighter in us, the fighter in you, showed me that deep down there was a place for you that had a different type of self-value. And here we are. How many years has it been, Jen?
11.
Oh man, 11 years. So I said 10, so I'm not looking so bad. But so it's been 11 gracious, amazing years, and we went through a couple softwares now, and you are now, not only are you out of college, and I'm going to have you tell that story about getting out of college and your children and everybody that you're raising, but now you're the experience director at Payserve Systems. We are literally the largest UKG ready, 1,000 or more employee provider, the largest in the country, and you are in charge of the experience that the customer has, right?
Yeah, from the start.
From the start. And you have a large command of the software, you have a large command of the user, the experience, and even the training. So what does it mean for us to not stop valuing? when I say to you, I really want my listeners, and I certainly want you to understand that we need to stop not valuing ourselves. And so I know that when you walked in that door, you had a certain value of yourself of what you could do. But where was your value system when you walked in that door 11 years ago? You had two babies, right?
3.
Three. You had are you counting Chipper?
No.
So you had three babies and you had a husband. And I remember you telling me that maybe there was a part in your life you didn't even have running water where you were growing up.
Yeah, when I was a kid, yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what drove you into Payserve and what gave you the tenacious piece to look at this 6'1" bald guy and tell him he was wrong?
Yeah, so I didn't start out with much in life. We lived in the hollers of Tennessee and no running water. We had a creek that ran through the backyard that we would carry buckets and just up until I was 4 years old, no running water. And at that point, our we lived in a trailer. Our trailer burnt down, and then we moved up to Indiana to be closer to my mom's family. So growing up there, great, it's not a lot of money still, but we had what we needed. And then when I was 15, I moved back to Tennessee to live with my dad, finished high school, met my husband in high school. We got married, had a baby, had another baby. Then I went to college and had a third baby. So, school and family was rough, but it was well worth it.
Yeah.
So getting to that point, um, my mom always used to say, where there's a will, there's a way. I wanted that education, so I made it happen. I wanted to be a role model for my kids and
And
say, hey, it doesn't matter what's thrown, you can.
you worked your way through college?
I did. I worked my way through college. While supporting a husband and 3 kids. So it's
And soon to be me.
not the easiest task, but hey, I was determined.
Yeah.
And that determination has really pulled me through a lot.
So when it comes to stop not valuing yourself, and I have the privilege to work with you, and I know that one of the hardest things that you have to do is say no to people sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's tough.
It's tough. But yet, on the other hand, which would some would say that indicates some type of esteem challenges, right? But on the other hand, where were I'm just so in awe of this. Like, how did you know that you were going to kick my ass in that interview? How did you know that you were going to go through this process of actually paying for college, raising 3 kids? And I know Chipper's a great guy. And Chipper's my buddy because I can make him happy with energy drinks. He's such a great dude, and he has been by your side the whole time. But I know that he's kind of moved around a little bit. But how I just want to hear about your self value at that time. So your mom was the one that instilled this piece to you. I mean, I know you're an overcomer, and I like people have stories all the time, but this is a real hero right here, right now, who's done the things that you hear about on TV or things you hear about in movies, right? I mean, she is a true successionaire. She had a plan, she executed, and she has been doing it ever since I've known her. And now she's ascended to a leadership rank in Payserve Systems. Matter of fact, she has changed the entire landscape of Payserve Systems Incorporated. It's an amazing story. But can we tell the listeners, and I don't want to drag something out of you that's not there, but I just know that I struggle. Struggle is a hard word, but there are times where I don't feel like I'm valuing myself because I'm not feeling good about myself. But here you are coming from no running water. You have 3 kids. Did you have college debt at that point?
Yes.
So you got college debt. You got challenges coming and going. You moved to a new place and you need a job bad.
Yes. Yeah.
Just give us a little on just like your core value and how you were able to do that. And I want to move on to the other side of why is it so hard for you to say no to people?
Yeah, so I was very determined. I needed a job, everything that was going on in my life, things that I had to take care of. So very determined there. But also knowing that if I say I'm going to do something, then I will make sure that I can do something. I'm going to do it. And so knowing myself as far as where there's a will, there's a way, being able to push through any kind of objections or obstacles that come in was that's how I am. And absolutely there are times even now when I don't feel like I'm worth it sometimes, to use your words. Yeah, no, sometimes I feel like I'm not worth it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know I can.
So how bad did you need that job?
Oh, absolutely needed that job. 3 young kids. My oldest was going into 4th grade. My youngest wasn't even in school yet. So having the children, we were living with my mom when we very first moved up. So didn't have our own place, had to get our own place. Student loans, of course, you have a little bit of a grace period in there when you first get out of school, but it's not a very long grace period. Um, you know,
So when it comes to like you really needed that job bad, I mean, do you think so? I do this kind of when I build companies and I move through life in my way. Certainly, I don't have that uh, dramatic interview story in my life. I have an interview story, but I like yours better. But I think there's something about the fact that you really needed the job. I think there's something like you put yourself in a position where you couldn't fail. You had nowhere to go, right? If that job wasn't going to work out, you were going to go. I'm betting your knuckles would have been wore out by knocking on doors that day.
oh, absolutely.
And I think there's something that I think people need to understand. Sometimes our value is holding us back, our sense of value is holding us back. But I also want you to understand sometimes all that is trumped by the necessity of life. And so I'm just so proud of what she's done. I'm so proud that she's in my life. I'm so proud that she can help us understand, like, even the sense of like, what have I gotten us into now? Why have I went to college and spend all this money when I know it's the right thing, but I wasn't home for the children at the young age they were at some point. I know I was going back and forth. I know the telephone bill's getting behind or certain things are getting behind. And maybe Chipper is not happy with everything I'm doing all at once, all the time. And maybe the house isn't the way it should be. And how can I do it all right? I'm just worthless. Right. And I'm not going to say, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I know that when I was starting in life, unlike you, I have literally said to myself, you are worthless. And those are the worst words you can say to yourself because you're not, but you do feel that way. But somehow, some way, when we put ourselves in these positions that we must succeed, it's funny how we do it. Right. And so you're a living proof of that in regards to that. I just wanted to ask you, how do you deal with that potential piece of feeling worthless? Have you ever felt that way?
Oh, absolutely.
No, I hope not lately.
No, I surround myself with people I know who will help me see my value. My husband, Chipper, he has been a rock. We've been married for over 20 years now, and it's he's always been there. And he's always been able to say, hey, stop with the negatives, turn that around, find the silver lining. Something's good about the situation, even if it's a really bad situation. Something's
So
good.
Chipper's saying those things to you?
He does.
Oh, if you saw Chipper, uh, I don't know if you would think that. I mean, this guy, handsome guy, does he have a motorcycle?
No, not yet.
Okay, but he looks like he should own
Oh
like he
yeah.
should be one of those dudes, right? And he has got. Does he still have the beard?
Yes.
Okay, so he's a man's man, right? And so you would know. So love yourself, nurture relationships. Here's another one I had. Know your strengths and grow on them. Right? So these are some things that I wanted to just really kind of run through with Jen. Um, how do you learn to value yourself? And she came right out of the box. Learn to love yourself, nurture relationships with Chipper or someone in your life that can do those things with you. And here's one that we've worked on uh, with Jen in the business world. Know your strengths and grow them, right? And so Jen has this piece about her, and it's not a negative, but it's the only piece I could ever really pick on her as a mentor or a leader. Um, and it's that Jen is a pleaser. And
Absolutely. Don't know how to say no.
we literally we have I don't even know if she knows it, but we have a Jen rule in the whole the operational setup of a new client. And she only has like 5 or 6 things that she can say yes to. And so we gave her permission, if they're not in those 5 or 6 reasons and they're not in that box, that she can't say no. So she just says this basically, it's not on my list. It's going to have to go to Sam or somebody like that. Isn't that how that works?
Yeah.
Is it still in play? Well,
I
so
have gotten better,
you
but I'm not there yet.
all right, so some of us out there are like that. I hate to say no to people, but I mean, I'm not you could go pro at it because you have. But why is that?
I have, well, everything in my past, there's some abandonment and trust issues in there, and it's difficult for me to make friends because of some of those things. But I think a big part of it is because I don't want people to not like me.
Yeah,
It's just um I find value in being able to help people.
right,
It's what I really love to do is help people. And so if I can, I want to say yes,
right. So I
even if
think
I shouldn't.
when I think about that in my side of things, sometimes I just don't own my own emotions. And this is some of the side of not valuing ourselves appropriately all the time. Nobody does it all the time. And I was brave enough to ask Jen, and Jen's brave enough to be honest with us. And here she is, a successful business person, a businesswoman. How old are your children right now?
19, 16, and 14.
Man, and didn't we send one to the military? Which one?
Yes. Yes.
Which one was it? I'm
Edwin.
Edward. Is he the middle one or the oldest?
Oldest. And he
Edward.
is coming back from South Korea next week.
Congratulations. And he's gonna just be on some type of leave, or is he gonna go
Yep.
back?
Leave for a few weeks and then he has to go to Texas.
And so why did you decide it was best for him in a value situation to encourage him to go to the service, or was it his idea?
Partially his, but we had long discussions about what it would mean for him. It gives him opportunities that I cannot. So he'll be able to go to school without the student loan debt that I had. He'll be able to, he's already traveled. He's been in South Korea for a year. Beautiful country. He's gone on hikes and stuff. It's awesome. He's getting experiences that I can't give him. So part of it was absolutely his idea. He had talked to recruiters at school and he was pretty excited about it, but a little nervous to leave home. But the things that he could get out of it, the opportunities that he has because of it, definitely outweighed the nervousness.
Edward's super, super, super strong. Your family how to value yourself, your actions through this company. Sean was amazing. Like we brought him into pay serve systems. No, we brought him into Tom's Donuts. I'm sorry. And I got to tell you, I've never seen a young man flourish. I don't think he's missed a day in a year now?
2.
2 years. He's going to run that place. Shane loves him. They love him there. and he's an absolute genius, right? He's fixing things and making donuts and own his own life. And so I just see those two children. The littlest one I'm just not so aware of yet.
Well, she's applied for the donut shop, so.
Oh, bring it on. What the love and joy keeps coming back to me that Jennifer, and you know, I just want to just tell you, Jen, that day of that interview, you know, I don't really feel like I should apologize because so many good things have come from it, but I do want to apologize for not having the proper lenses on right away with you. And you have just blown my expectations away.
Thank you.
Changed. Yeah. You've changed the company. You've changed my life. You've changed our family. You've just been, your attitude, you should feel very, very good about your story, about your family, about your Jennifer brand. And I just wanted to share it with the world. You're the first. I want you to know I've never had a guest solo on my show, and you are the first ever.
Awesome. Thanks.
How was the interview? Was it okay?
It was good. It was good.
All right. All right. I'm so glad you didn't make me get a 10 key out or type it. Because these guys would have been like, oh, man.
Match.
But listen, give me a final word. Do you have any advice you'd like to give the people that are listening about how to value yourself or how to look at life the way you just like the Jen look?
Yeah, just when you're starting to feel overwhelmed or like things are not going to work the way that you want them to, just take a pause. 5 seconds, look at yourself in the mirror. If you don't have a mirror, just tell yourself that you can do it.
Yeah.
Because you absolutely can.
Yeah. Self-talk. Well, listen, you have a great day. Tell Chipper I said hello and just love you guys. I'll be there this week.
Awesome.
I'm going to knock on the door. I'm going to stick my hand in there and I'm going to go like that, like I always do.
Good.
Because you're doing a demo or something.
Always.
All right. So this is Todd Saylor and Jennifer Quarles, the user experience director at Payserve Systems, a good friend, an amazing manager, an amazing person, a parent, a leader. I can't tell you how proud I am of her. Remember to be, do, and think differently. ToddSaylor.com. Thank you, Jen. Have a great day.
Thank you.